who makes the rest of us feel wonderfully underachieving. Most of us look back at 17 and remember worrying about exams, college applications, or convincing our parents to extend our curfew time. Ananya Birla looked at 17 and thought, why don't I start a microfinance institution? Friends, please note, at the tender age of 17, you're not even legally allowed to vote. That little idea is today's Swatantra Microfin, India's second largest microfinance institution. It has earned recognition from our Honorable Prime Minister, along with several other national honours. She went on to welcome a warm, enthusiastic and well-deserved welcome to Miss Ananya Birla.
Alright, so with this, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for us to inaugurate. It is time for the inauguration ceremony, and we come to a moment that I think will matter for years to come, because we are not just launching a forum, we are marking the start of a story that each one in this room will get to watch it grow. So ladies and gentlemen, with this, I would once again request Miss Ananya Birla, our chief guest, to have a big round of applause. 2, 1, and ladies and gentlemen, there we have the journey of Young Leaders Forum Mumbai officially begins now, and we believe in writing history. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we believe in writing history, so we are going to do that quite literally. I request Ms. Ananya Birla to sign the canvas. And we would now request
and founded the Indian Chamber of Commerce. And a century down, we have Ananya launching the youth wing. And I think we are so grateful that you're gracing the occasion.
Thank you so much, ICC, for having me here. Thank you all for being here today. This moment truly means a lot to me, because my bade dadoji, G.D. Birla, like you said, had launched ICC during British Raj. To empower our Indian businessmen in 1925. Today we are in 2026, so it's exactly 101 years later. So this means a lot to me, the fact that you all thought of me, and of course all the amazing work that you all do. So thank you so much for having me here today.
I think having you here gives us a lot of motivation. But to begin, that's a question I wanted to ask, is something we all ponder over. What's your personal definition of success? And has it changed since you were 18?
Absolutely. I think when I was 18, when I started Swatantra, my first venture, at that time I think I was just a 17-year-old trying to make herself feel worthy of where she was born. I just had so much guilt. I just couldn't understand what I had done to be given so much, whereas the girl just across the street had nothing to wear. So at that time, I think there was so many existential questions in my mind. There was so much going on. There was so much about my identity, and I was just so adamant on proving my worth to myself without the help of my family. So to me, I guess success at that time meant that. Today for me, success is about unlocking exponential value. And that can be for consumers, that can be for my stakeholders, that can be for myself. How do I, on a daily basis, become, even if it's 0.001% better, while being nice to my neighbor, by doing something nice for the world around me. But I think, like we all say, oxygen mask on first. So it's really a balance of how do I make myself better while trying to do the best I can for the world around me. And that's what success means to me today. It's a mix of professional, going forward in my professional life, and also making sure that my personal life is in place.
Fantastic. I think that's so well put that success is also a lot about bringing value, and value a lot of times is brought about by collaboration and building the right team. So I think my question is there a quality you look for when you hire people on your team that you underestimated, say, 5 years ago?
Absolutely. So very initially when I was 17, 18, 19, 20, I wouldn't say that it's something that let me down, because everyone I hired then is still with me today. And that's absolutely to their credit. But I used to look for, it is very important to bring people onto your team who have a very high understanding of themselves. So high self-awareness. They can be honest, we can have a very honest dialogue that someone made a mistake or we don't know something. We can have very transparency, there's honesty, there is collaboration, there is vision before ego. There is also a deeper understanding that, this is something I don't know, but it's a skill that I can learn. So when you bring on people onto your team who have a high sense of self-awareness, what you can achieve together as a team just completely transforms. Because it's not about knowing everything, it's knowing that we don't know everything, and possibly the more we know, the less we'll know. However, we can learn. And it's about, G.D. Davaji in fact used to say that he's a student of life, and I can't agree with that more.
Fantastic. I think in the world of AI, specifically means over the last few years.
So this is something that's remained with me. I'm very lucky to have quite a strong intuition on things. Sometimes I'm able to follow it and sometimes I'm not. And however, my intuition and my gut has never let me down. So I'm not going to say data is not important. It's very, very, very important. So it's very important to, scan through the data. It's very important to understand what the real data even is. Are we looking at the actual data that's mandatory to look at for whatever case we're studying? So data is extremely important. Having all of that in our conscious mind, I think it's important to let that mull over in your mind for a few days, and then eventually, your brain has a way of assimilating that data, and then your intuition speaks, your gut speaks, and then you just have to be brave enough to follow that gut.
Fantastic. Next question, I think let's try to get to know Ananya a little more personally. So Ananya, what's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done that made everyone around you say only Ananya would do this?
I think I do things that shock everyone around me for some reason. But my team is very, very supportive of me. My family is very, very supportive. My friends are very, very supportive. Whether I was starting a microfinance company at 17, I remember my mom said, "What is microfinance?" My dad said, "You can't even be on the board." No one could really understand what I was doing, and I don't blame them. I don't know if I would have even trusted myself then if I was someone else. But it all worked out because I had that clear vision of what I wanted to achieve. So whether it's something like that, whether it was dropping out of Oxford, which I just knew I had to do, whether it was recently I just said I want to go to Assam tomorrow, and my dad almost fainted. Again, like the previous question you asked me, I think it's about some things you just know, and there can be fear. And it's really important to be fearful but do it anyway, because that's when you can truly live a fulfilled life. And it's not always easy, it's actually very, very hard. And sometimes I can do it and sometimes I cannot. But yes, just a few examples of only Ananya could have done that. And this ranges from, and there are also things that I do that are very normal as well. But there are some weird things that I sometimes do, and I do trouble the people around me for sure. I'm not going to deny that.
No, so I don't think it's very uncommon. But
I think time will tell if I'm the most successful or not. I'm surely one of the happiest right now, is what I would say. Maybe tomorrow I wake up feeling very unhappy, I don't know. But as of now, I'm very happy to be here.
Touch wood. Now, Ananya, should we go to a rapid fire very quickly? I'll give you one word and tell me what you think. Okay.
I'm not a very rapid or fast person. I'm quite boring, so Please forgive me.
I think we all think otherwise, but okay, we'll start. So, what comes to your mind when I say Mumbai?
Home.
Entrepreneurship,
Way of life.
AI,
It can go very right or very wrong.
music,
Soul.
failure,
Very important to fail.
family,
My life.
success,
Two sides of the same coin.
and happiness.
Transient.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Ananya Birla, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ananya, for sharing your journey. And with this, as a small token of appreciation, I would now like to call upon stage our title sponsor, Mr. Pradeep Gupta from Access My India, to felicitate Ms. Ananya Birla. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep our claps rolling. A big thank you once again, Ananya, for gracing us with your presence. And with this, I would also like to call upon stage for a group picture our current chair of YLF Kolkata, Mrs. Saloni. All right, now to present a memento, I would request Mr. Ankit Gupta to join us upon the stage.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it.
Everyone, we gotta have our claps louder this time. And say a big thank you to Ms. Ananya Birla. And also, I would now request Mrs. Saloni Surekha, Mr. Aaditya Agarwal, our current chair of YLF Kolkata. Please join us here in capturing this moment and taking a group picture together. Thank you so much. A short video of our title sponsor.
एक फोटो में तो अरे सब साइड हो जाओ सर सर फोटो अरे सर क्या कर रहे हैं अरे क्या मतलब
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
मैंने आप लेके
so
In front of our prestigious guest, I and Aditya and past chairs of YLF Kolkata would like to officially pin YLF Mumbai Chairperson Ankit Gupta and Vice Chairperson Siddharth. Can you please join us on stage? And we would officially want to make you responsible for YLF Mumbai to take it above and beyond.
finding a new home right here in Mumbai. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. We have YLF Mumbai forward. Now I would request, please wait. It's now time for us to present the waiter to our chair and vice chair of YLF Mumbai. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just a physical handover. It's a
Good evening, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome someone who has consistently shown that leadership is not about age, but about action. A dynamic voice of Maharashtra, a youth leader who stepped up when it mattered, and someone who believes that the future of our... Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us today. Please join us on stage.
warmest welcome and to join Shri.
Thank you, Aditya ji, for gracing the occasion. Honestly, I don't think you need any introduction. The name says it all.
Thank you. I mean, that was a very kind introduction. And when there's a lot of praise, there's a little more responsibility. So, but thank you for having me over, and congratulations and best wishes for taking over this chapter to both you, Siddharth, the whole team. I think it's a big responsibility. So, congratulations.
Absolutely, that baton was very heavy. Anyways, without taking too much time, I know you're pressed for time. We'll start with the little chat. We want to know, you entered public life very young. What's the biggest myth about young leaders that you would like to bust today?
That the baton is very heavy.
Absolutely, spot on, that's true.
Trust me, it's not. It's a myth. It depends on how you feel it, right? So that, yeah.
For someone in this room who wants to make a difference but doesn't know where to start, what would you suggest be the first step?
I think just start. Because frankly, if you see what's happened in the past 2 months in India, the CJP is a big example. It just started off with a parody handle. Because the Chief Justice said, you know, a lot of young people are pouring out like cockroaches and stuff like that. Started off with a parody handle and then went on to take the resignation of a union minister from a government that's not resigned for the last 12 years. So just start off, because in this day and age, where you have so many mediums, you have the social media, you have the media, you have people who are so aware, our generation who's not, and especially the generation after us, who's not scared of asking questions, who's not scared of asking for accountability. I think you can just start off and people will follow if the cause is right.
Yeah, absolutely. I too, to some extent, believe there's no problem that does not have a solution. You just need to spend time to find it. So like you rightly said, once you start, you'll find your way. Coming up with our next question. What's a decision that you took that was unpopular at the time, but you're proud of now?
As in, I think, I mean, in politics you have to sort of keep balancing the both. I think one of the more unpopular in terms of with a certain kind of people, but I think largely I would say Maharashtra responded to it very positively, and looking back, saved a lot of lives was the lockdown and COVID, right? Because there was a lot of pressure from a lot of pressure groups, a lot of political parties, a lot of political opponents, and saying abhi khol do, bahut ho gaya, this and that. But we stuck on because we heard the doctors, we were looking at data, we were looking at stats, we were looking at people who were analyzing that data, we were looking at global trends. I think sticking on with a certain decision was very important back then. May have made us unpopular, but I think it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to save lives, and that's what we ended with. So I think
kudos to that. I mean, hats off to that. Please. You're an excellent orator. First speech.
You know, frankly, I have never thought of going on stage and having a one-way conversation. Even right now, when you ask me, would you come and, sort of address the crowd? I said, no, I love a fireside chat because खुद की मन की बात नहीं करनी है. अकेले की मन की बात सिर्फ एक आदमी करते हैं, but not going into that. It's always good to have an interaction, and I've always remembered myself way back when I was in school. The Gemini in me comes out then when I'm going on stage, and there's also a part of me which is a very introverted part of me, which is scared of the stage, which is scared of speaking on stage. And I remember back then when I was in school, I would hate the stage. I would not. And that's when my principal, Dr. Deepen Prasad, he called me into his cabin and he fired me, saying, Aditya, your stage is your home. If you don't go on stage, who will? And you need to start adjusting yourself. And I remember back then I was still very, very scared of going on stage. And my grandfather once told me, saying, look, you don't have to give a speech. You don't have to go up and preach. Just have a conversation. Just speak to the people what you want to speak. I think that's what I follow even now, and that's what keeps me more or less comfortable on stage.
And which has made you today an inspiration to all the youngsters, not only in Maharashtra, but all over India, I think.
Thank you. That's very kind of you, but...
If you and the Young Leaders Forum had to pick one word for Bombay, what would it be?
I think Mumbai is all about being yourself. Of course, there are lots of more words that are attached to us. Spirit of Mumbai is attached to us whenever, the administration fails at something and we still go to work the next day. There's resilience, there's spirit, there's strength, there's inspiration. But I think a lot of us as Mumbaikars believe in being ourselves, right? We don't think of dressing up for occasions. We don't think of, okay, I've got to impress this one or that one or that one. It's just, okay, I'm a Mumbaikar and that's what I wear on my sleeve. I think that's being yourself.
Without taking any more time of yours, we'll come to our last question. A little fun, a little quirky. If you had 24 hours and an unlimited budget to fix in Mumbai, what would it be?
I mean, I definitely wouldn't...
Does that mean everything is fixed in Bombay?
No. That's what I'm looking at. What? But I wouldn't need an unlimited budget. I would need a limited budget because that is very important right now when the government is running a deficit. I think first thing is public transport.
Right.
That is what I would definitely want to look at. My other priority would be open spaces and protecting open spaces, increasing open spaces. 3, of course, education is very, very important. What we had set out to do with the municipal schools. I frankly always believe that if I can choose, and I have the luxury to choose whether I want to go to an ICSE school or an IB school or a CBSE school, why not a grammar school, why not a BMC school, right? And that's what we brought to BMC. I mean, we were the first and only municipal corporation across India or probably Asia to have an SSE board, a CBSE board, an ICSE board, an IB board and an IGCSE board, free of cost.
Wow.
So I think that's where you start creating a society, that's where you start creating the base. That is one. And yeah, of course, I mean, goes without saying, roads and footpaths. So, yeah.
There is a joke that says whether there is a road in the potholes or there's a pothole in the roads.
There's always a lucky pot for the government right now, so that's what you need to avoid.
No, but thank you so much. It's been an honor having you over here.
Thank you.
And we generally, it's a big pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And, I think starting off with this chapter, Young Leaders Forum, I think it's a very big thing for all of you. The responsibility, even though it may be big as seen, I think you being Mumbaikars and you starting off in Mumbai makes it very easy. Look at what happened last week from Sunday to Sunday. You just give a call and Mumbai stands up to it, right? Mumbai just doesn't think about the socio-economic barriers, doesn't think about any other divide, be it caste, creed, language, religion. It just thinks of itself as Mumbai, standing for India, and that's, I think, what you can achieve for sure. So, best wishes for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, what a raw conversation it was. We love the subtle roast.
But I just wanted to tell you kudos for the way you handled COVID.
Thank you.
Because of that, Bombay was really safe and we had the minimum number of deaths.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be in the state government back then. So.
Thank you for your address today. I am Kangshi. I wanted to ask your opinion on what do you think and what would you say your party would say to this population that is looking at you?
I think I just tell them don't back down. Because, a lot of us actually, our generation, the generation before us, what is called the boomers, right? And then the millennials, we want to ask questions. We keep asking questions, but we whisper those questions. And when we are told to sit down, we sit down. The Gen Zs stepped out, and for about 4 or 5 years till now, we were thinking they were teaching us a new language or just new words. They've taught us courage. I've been seeing even today a couple of young students, 2-3 girls who've made reels roasting the government and roasting the trolls who've roasted them. That takes a lot of courage to step out, stand up, to speak up. I think that's a lot of courage, and to ask the right questions, to come up for the right cause. I think, especially after seeing what happened in Delhi. In Delhi you saw pellet guns being used, you saw AK-47 being used in Bihar, you saw lathis with rusted nails, you saw electrified barricades, you saw electric tasers being used. And after all of that, for them to go to the hospital, get their wounds quickly stitched up, and come back and sit at protests in Delhi, step out here, that is huge. As for my party, or as for us, the 3 protests that we had, the 3 protest calls, 19th, 24th and 26th, all the 3 days I had promised no political speeches, no political flags, no political divides, only the tricolor. That's what we delivered on. And the other promise we had delivered is we'll take the cases, we won't let anyone touch you. I think that happened on all those 3 days, so we'll always stand by that. One time, it's not going to help. It's supposed to be voicing the society and also maybe at certain points guiding a certain direction for the country. So that is very important. 2, as I've always believed, you keep your core ideology at the heart of everything. And while you respect that and while you follow that, you also can adapt to newer situations and to issues that arise. So you have to keep doing that.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We'll take...
No, it's...
Despite being so busy, you're the minister, and I think when you did that for Maharashtra, Mumbai, we saw a massive change in the way our city started looking. Graffitis at Worli, artworks all over the city. You're advocating for Kala Gora to be 24 hours open. So now that you're looking at tourism differently, tell me the top 3 things that you feel India needs to work on when it comes to tourism.
See, not just tourism, I think overall at the job aspect, right? And I've been a little shocked by the stat, and I've been speaking this again and again. Maybe it's repetitive, but if you hear Mr. Jay Banga of the World Bank, he put out a very interesting figure. He said that over the next 10 to 15 years, overall across the emerging markets, across the world, you'll have about 120 crore people coming into the job market, working age. And the job creation is only for about 40 crore people. The gap is huge. And in a time where technology is changing, you cannot hold back AI, you cannot hold back technology, just like you couldn't hold back in the industrial age. You cannot hold it right now. How do we as a young country, and we're probably a huge chunk of it, how do we adapt to it? How do we evolve with times? How does our education system change? One of the biggest issues in the protest was about accountability in education. But the other question is, 6 years ago we had the new education policy coming out. How many places has it been implemented in? How many of us today, even right now as we speak, feel like, okay, an education abroad is better than getting an education here? And after getting that education abroad, which is multifaceted, maybe very versatile, how much of it is actually applicable here? Or how do you, emerge as a new country with that kind of education being implemented here? So these are questions that we need to keep thinking about. Yes, the hospitality sector, the tourism sector are spawn sectors, right? Because that is one sector where you need the touch and feel of a human. During COVID, we also saw something like what we had created in Worli, where we had created the medical facility in Dome. Medicines were going through robots. So now these are things that are also changing. So how do we create ourselves as when we look at New India, adaptable or open to this challenge of job creation? I think that is very, very important. So of course tourism is a major factor. The other thing that I speak about is climate, because again, increasingly I've been seeing climate events over the last decade or decade and a half, where every season of farms where you harvest, you have either unseasonal rainfall, a hailstorm, heat wave, extended rainfall. If you don't have food on the table, what are you going to produce and what are you going to eat? Way back when Malthus said that we're going to die of famine, we had a technological revolution. You had an intervention and food started being produced again and at a certain level. But today when you have improper rainfall or seasons that are changing, how do you adapt to that? So that is something very important. Amaya's here, so. His father's one of the first people when I was in school who I had a conversation on climate change with. So yeah, when his father was environment minister back then.
All right. Thank you so much once again, and thank you, Aditya ji, for this candid fireside call. Thank you so much.
सभी स्टूडेंट को मैं माफ कर देता हूँ।
माफी नहीं, अकाउंटेबिलिटी मांगी और हम अकाउंटेबिलिटी मांग रहे हैं, किसी की माफी नहीं हम मांग रहे हैं। माफी सरकार ने मांगी थी, लाठी जैसे बरसाई है, ये डाल दी, लेकिन शॉप गन से जैसे किया है, फिर महिलाओं को जैसे मैंडेटरी किया गया था। आप देखो कि टीयर गैस बिहार में AK-47, माफी सरकार ने मांगनी चाहिए, कोई उनकी माफी नहीं मांग रहे हैं हमसे, हम अकाउंटेबिलिटी मांग रहे हैं, माफी नहीं। Yes.
Yes, sir.